Alright, guys. So, I just got back from watching the new movie Obsession. Oh my god, where do I begin? Okay, major fucking spoilers, major trigger warning for a bunch of shit. I have a lot to get off of my chest, but in the simplest terms, go watch this movie. It's very disturbing, very scary, but in the best ways possible. Obsession is about basically a wish gone wrong, extremely wrong. The main character, Baron, short, which people call him Bear for short. By the way, I really fucking hate that guy, but we're gonna get more into that later. He is this like basically like fucking incel type, kind of socially awkward. He has a huge crush on his friend slash coworker Nikki. He basically wants to get with her, but doesn't have the courage to ask her out, and she's very not much into him. Basically, he finds this novelty item. So there is a supernatural element to it, by the way. He finds this novelty item called the One Wish Wilson or some shit like that, and he buys it on a whim from a local store and he uses it. He doesn't think much of it, but he makes a wish something along the lines of have Nikki be extremely in love with me or something along those lines. I think he even says obsessed with me. I forget the exact words, but it's something along that nature. Anyways, the context of when he uses that novelty supernatural voodoo shit is that Nikki is either moving away or getting a different job, something along those lines, and he volunteers to drop her off. When he drops her off, as she's leaving his car and getting into her house, he uses the item, and instantly, there is a switch in Nikki's behavior and mood. Now, just just for convenience sake, Nikki is almost two characters in this movie. She is two characters in this movie. I'll refer to the cursed Vicky. She's not. They never use the term cursed, but I'll just say cursed Nikki as fake Nikki, and then they obviously have the real Nikki. Before Bear uses the item, Nikki's like, "All right, dude, I'll see you. You know, fucking." Thanks for dropping me off, whatever. Not really into you, but have a nice day. Or have a nice night, I should say. And as he uses the item, she just comes back instantly. And she's like, oh, come inside. My dad has cancer. Like, she's just making shit up on the spot for him to come in. Now, initially, it's not that creepy. It is a bit weird, again, the instant switch, because both the main protagonist and the viewers don't even know if this shit is actually working, right? And that is basically the beginning premise of how this thing begins. Now, throughout the movie, fake Nikki's obsession with Baron becomes super intense and super fucking disturbing. Like, there's a scene right after the one that I just explained where Nikki and Bear are making out, and fake Nikki snaps back into real Nikki. And dude, when I realized what was going on, bro, a crazy pit formed in my stomach, because it was kind of rapey in a sense. I don't know if that's the right word, but just think about that, right? You have a person who has lost autonomy over their body and their actions, and now without their consent, they're being put in a sexual, even predatory situation. When I realized that while watching the scene, I was like, holy shit, this movie's gonna get fucking dark. The other thing I want to mention was there are scenes where fake Nikki moves so fucking creepily, and the camera work, the movements of the actress, oh my god, everything is done to a T, and it just makes you so uncomfortable. Like, there's a scene where Nikki and Bear are both sleeping in Bear's room, and as the scene starts, Bear is by himself in the bed. Now, this is like maybe a quarter into the movie, so fake Nikki's obsession has been already clearly put on display, and the fact that you don't see fake Nikki next to Bear, to me personally at least, that already set off red flags. I'm like, okay, something crazy is gonna happen, because why is she not next to him? Okay, fake Nikki would literally do anything to be next to this man, and she's not there, and something is gonna happen. Something is gonna go wrong. So Bear wakes up and he realizes that Nikki is not next to him. Immediately he starts, panicking. Not crazy, he's not screaming or anything, but he's just looking around like, okay, where the fuck is she? Dude, the camera stays at a still frame for like 3 to 4 seconds, and it's like complete darkness because it's nighttime in the movie, and they were sleeping. My man, when I tell you, the camera doesn't do like a corny ass zoom in, but eventually your eyes will realize that Nikki is in the corner of the room in pitch darkness watching Bear sleep. Oh my god, that shit freaked me the fuck out. I was like, yo, oh my man. And then she moves in such a creepy ass way. Now that I watched the movie, I've looked into some of the behind the scenes stuff, and they used makeup, not even CGI, which I really appreciated, by the way. It was all authentic, real shit. They used makeup to make her face look so fucking weird. She's not like crazy looking in the sense that her face is completely changed. She has like a mask on or something stupid. It's her face, but it's very uncanny valley looking. And they used a trick where like they put some sort of eyeliner on the top and bottom of her eyes, making her eyes look really wide. If you've seen the scene, you know what I'm talking about. And because it's so dark, you can't even really tell what's going on with her face. It's so creepy in the best way possible. Never have I felt so genuinely bad for a character like Nikki. Nikki is the true victim of obsession. It's not even heavily implied. It's obvious that through some supernatural factor, it's never really explained, but it doesn't have to be. I think it works perfectly fine without being explained. Real, genuine Nikki is not into this at all. I don't know, again, it's never explained exactly what the supernatural thing is, but basically she's a prisoner in her own body. You could almost, if I were to give an analogy, you could almost say a split personality disorder in a sense. Nikki is trapped inside her body, watching another personality do these things, do these insane things, hurt people, hurt herself, do a bunch of crazy shit. I can't think of all of it right at this moment, but again, if you watch the movie, she does some wild, disturbing shit. When I walked out of the theater after I watched this movie with my friends, I was like, yo, Nikki is the true victim of this entire scenario. Again, I have never felt so genuinely bad for a character. I've never felt like, damn, man, like, I just hate what happened to this person in this movie. She goes through so much bullshit. And again, you know, I don't know if you're at this point, you know I've talked about major spoilers, but now I'm going to talk about the ending for a bit. In the ending, surprisingly, she's the only one that lives. I was really convinced that she was going to off herself after seeing what's been done. Because again, think about it in the real world consequences, right? Bear is dead, Ian is dead, Sarah is dead, everyone is fucking dead, and they're all at the same place. All their bodies are in the same house. And then when Bear's bitch ass finally fucking, you know, kicks the bucket, Nikki is the only one there. She's like, her prints are all over the scene, whatever. So realistically, she either goes to jail or something really bad happens to her. You know what I mean? She does not have a happy ending at all, and that's a good thing. It's a bad ending for the characters in the story, but it's not a bad quality ending, if that makes sense. And last but not least, like the title suggests, who really is the villain in Obsession? Dude, I fucking hated this guy Bear, man. Holy shit, never have I seen a character that I've hated with such a passion in a hot minute. Like you think Micah from RDR2 is bad? Oh my god, this guy makes you want to beat his ass. Okay, the movie does it in a very excellent way where the entire time you're watching it, Bear is the main protagonist, but he is not the good guy by any means. And it's done in such a masterful way where it's very common to forget that during the movie. Like, Nikki will do some crazy shit. Like, there's a scene where Bear and Nikki go to a party that Ian's hosting, and they're playing some sort of, like, you know, some fucking drinking game or some shit like that. Just like a fun social game. And one of the prompts is kiss the person next to you. Bear gets that prompt. And the person next to Bear is Sarah. Now, I forgot to mention, now I didn't mention this earlier, but there's like a whole subplot about how Sarah is the one that's actually into Bear, but Bear doesn't give a shit about Sarah, and he's only into Nikki. But again, real Nikki does not find Bear attractive at all. In fact, it's even revealed near the end that Bear and Ian, the other guy friend, were actually hooking on and off casually for like a good hot minute. But anyways, Bear gets the prompt to kiss the person to his left. The person to his left is Sarah. And immediately I was like, okay, some awkward shit is gonna happen. Dude, Nikki gets up in such a fucking weird way goes behind them. Like, there's nothing normal about her movement, which I love. It makes her so creepy. Gets right next to them. Like, she gets in between Bear and Sarah. Sarah's sitting on some sort of like wooden chair or something. She like drags Sarah back and gets on her knees and just stares into Bear's eyes, and she's like, kiss me. Then fake Nikki has one of those snapback moments where the real Nikki comes out, and dude, it's so like sad and disturbing, man. Like, she is doing a bunch of this weird, embarrassing shit, you know, like harming herself and whatnot, and then again, real Nikki comes out for a few seconds and she's like screaming, having a breakdown, like, it's not me, it's not me. And then fake Nikki takes over again. Those scenes where the real Nikki comes out for a few seconds are so heartbreaking and disturbing. There's another one, now that I'm thinking about it, now that I'm remembering the scenes, where Nikki and Bear are sleeping together, right? They're both knocked out. And Bear gets a text from Sarah to meet him in the park because she has to like share some things with him. Getting to the main point, fake Nikki is physically asleep, so real Nikki is able to speak for a few seconds. Now, this isn't a recurring ability. This only happens this one time. It's never explained necessarily why or how it happens, but fake Nikki is actually sleeping, physically knocked out, right? She's sleeping. So real Nikki is able to speak for a few seconds. She can hear and speak. Dude, real Nikki talks to Bear like, please kill me, like, end this suffering. And I'm like, oh my god, this shit is heartbreaking. And so transitioning back to why I hate Bear as a character, dude, this guy is such a fucking coward. Now, admittedly, he does the whole wish thing without thinking that it's real, because who the fuck would think it's real, right? But when he tries to amend the situation, he does not try hard enough. He doesn't have the balls to commit to saving Nikki. Because, and I'm gonna drop a fucking bar here, although the movie will have you believe Nikki is obsessed with Bear, Bear is obsessed with Nikki. Think about it. This entire movie happens because of Bear's obsession with Nikki. He has this insane infatuation with her. He wants to be with her, but he can't. So he goes out of his way to buy some, what he thinks at least, bullshit wishy-washy item. Uses the item and it turns out to be true. At first he's like, oh, okay, you know, fucking, this is great, whatever. And then it gets super dark, as we've previously discussed. Now, I think midway throughout the movie, Bear kind of realizes that this shit is not what it was cut out to be. And there's like this help number on the one-time Wish Willow, whatever the fuck it's called, Willow, I forget. There's like a little help number on there. Call this number and we'll help you out, whatever, if you have any questions, etc. So he calls the number, and even that call, that scene itself is like so interesting, and like, you know, I'm sure there's somebody out there who's done like a great analyzation on it. But the guy who's talking on the other end is very laid back. He does not give a shit about the situation. And Bear is asking him, what do I do? How do I reverse my situation? And the guy says, hey man, you can't reverse the situation. This shit is only gonna end when you die. After this whole conversation, the guy on the other end of the phone is like, do you want to hear Nikki? And Bear is like freaking out. He's like, no, I'm good, like, I have to go, whatever, some shit like that. And you can hear real Nikki screaming. Again, that shit was very eerie. I don't know the symbolicness of it all, but it is a creepy scene. Now, my point of mentioning that is, although what the guy on the other end says is true, one of the ways the wish can be overturned is if Bear dies. Bear's dumbass just takes this at face value. He does not give a shit. And when I say dumbass, I'm not saying that the movie has bad writing and Bear doesn't have the mental capability to find another way to undo the wish. He just simply does not care. Again, in my opinion, Bear is the true villain of this story. He is the antagonist. It's only later on in the movie when Nikki has done even more worse shit, like I'm talking killing people and doing a bunch of crazy shit, that he finally comes to the great realization that he can use another wish bar. I forget their name, but you guys know what I'm talking about. He can use another wish bar to undo his wish. But there's a small caveat, as always. He has made his wish. He cannot make another one, so he has to get somebody else to do it. There's only 2 bars remaining. He goes back to the same store and buys it from that same store where he got the original first one. He buys the 2 last remaining bars, talks to the owner or the cashier, whatever. Cashier is like, nah, man, I already used my wish. I'm not going to help you. I can't help you. So he goes to his best friend, Ian. Ian, I mean, he was a cool character. I liked him. He kind of pulls a dumb moment, but again, like, you can understand why he does what he does. Ian, thinking that this guy is insane and just bullshitting, Bear, I mean, he uses the wish item. Is like, he says some, joking bullshit. He's like, oh, I wish for $1 billion. And he snaps the piece of wish wood. And it happens. And, it's like, damn, dude. It's like, oh, man. Like, you can't blame Ian, but it's just like, what if he had locked in, like, maybe this shit could have been saved. Now remember, Bear got 2 Wilsos or whatever they're called. One has been used by Ian now. He still has 1 left. His other final game plan is to somehow get Nikki to use it for him. Now, Bear never really goes into how he plans to do this, because obviously it's a very difficult task, but that's the only hope he has left. Long story short, shit does not work out. Fake Nikki has reached her boiling point. She's doing a bunch of weird shit. She's tweaking the fuck out. She's killed Sarah and like just put her body up on display. It's really fucking disturbing. Actually, now that I'm talking about this scene, I don't know if anyone else picked up on this, but fake Nikki dresses up like Sarah. It's super eerie. Like, Nikki has her own style, obviously, but now that she's killed Sarah and she saw Bear chatting with Sarah and, assuming they have some sort of relationship or something, in the final scene, fake Nikki is dressed up as Sarah. She like replicates her tattoos and shit. It's really eerie. She styles her hair the same way, makeup. It's very fucking creepy. Anyways, fake Nikki doesn't do the wish, obviously. In fact, she breaks the stake, so it's unusable. So it ends up going back to the original solution anyway. Bear has to die. Bear ends up overdosing on pills, and it's executed in a beautiful way, because these pills are shown in the very beginning of the movie. Bear's cat, as she takes some of these pills and passes away. So I just love the fact that they utilize them again at the end of the movie in such a climactic way. But anyways, Bear takes the pills, he eventually overdoses, and since he's dead, the wish is undone. With the ending being Nikki, now real Nikki, is back, and she is left with 3 fucking murders next to her, and her prints and her DNA evidence, all of that is all over the fucking place. When I really started hating Bear was in that scene where fake Nikki is asleep and real Nikki is literally crying out for help. She's like, please kill me, please just end this somehow. I do not want to live like this. This is degrading. This is torturous. And this dude he literally walks away. I mean, the gall, the audacity, right? He just walks away. And that's when the realization clicked for me. It is not Nikki who is obsessed with Bear. It is Bear who is obsessed with Nikki. Fucking fantastic movie. I really enjoyed this shit. Might even go as far as to say best movie of 2026.